Welcome to We Are Old, Get Over It, the podcast where we celebrate the wisdom of age and maybe a little grumbling too. Our podcast today is about tattoos. It's really not about tattoos. It's really about removing tattoos. And what we're going to talk about is the impact of aging with seniors and baby boomers in particular, where they may at some point, as they get to be as old as I am, want to remove a tattoo and the best ways to do it and the options that they have. So I have an expert here with me today. Her name is Lisa Giamarino. Did I get it right?
That's
Or
correct.
close enough? Oh, correct.
Yes.
That's good. I usually get it. I usually screw it up on the first one. She is in Naples. I'm going to give her the opportunity to give some information about her and her business. But I wanted to start out, as I usually do, with a quote. And the quote today, I'll have one for the beginning and one at the end. The quote for the beginning is, "Erase the past and embrace the future."
I like that.
Sometimes we make mistakes in our lives. Sometimes we get drunk or high. We went to Las Vegas. We found somebody we're in love with, and we get a forever tattoo. And then we find out that it ain't forever. And at some point, we might think about getting rid of it, but we didn't know how to do it when we were younger people. But nowadays, there are ways that you can get rid of it. And what Lisa's going to do is explain those to us. We were just comparing some notes before we started about how many people in the United States have tattoos. And I looked up, she and I looked up different bits of information. I looked up the total number, and it's about 32% of citizens in the United States have tattoos. And Lisa came up with a different number because she was relating more to our podcast audience. And what was that number?
I believe 13% of baby boomers have tattoos,
That's a lot.
which is still extraordinary. To me, that's a big number of a population that has tattoos.
Yeah, I agree. I think what happened is that the popularity of tattoos changed during our growth period. You're much younger than me, so
Well,
we'll
I'm
just.
53, so
Oh, you're still
I
much
mean,
younger than me.
I'm not old, but I'm not, 20.
There you go. Okay. Well, we're not. None of us are 20. I don't even think I have one audience member that's 20, but I have a lot of audience members that are older than that.
They should
Okay.
be listening to you because they'll probably get good business ideas.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. So let's talk about what I'd like you to do is just take a few minutes to tell people who you are, what your training is, and why you think what you do is the way to remove tattoos that you no longer want.
Sure.
Okay. So
So,
it's all up
again,
to you, Lisa.
sure. So
No
again, my name
pressure.
is Lisa Giamarino. I'm the co-owner of Naples Laser and Skin Aesthetics, which I own with my business partner, Nicoletta Barak. We are located in Naples, Florida, and we're a full service medical spa. So we do from laser hair removal, tattoo removal, facials, injectables, IVs, you name it, we do it. Weight loss, testosterone, we do it all. But oddly enough, I find the fact that you called me in this period of time is interesting because I don't know what's been going on, but in the last, I would say 6 months to a year, we get at least one phone call of people wanting to remove their tattoos daily.
Really?
I don't know. I don't really know why. I mean, we'll go over the reasons why people remove them, but I don't know why the big influx right now. Anyway, so my education is I'm a medical esthetician. I'm also a phlebotomist. I do lymphatic drainage. I'm VODR certified. And I'm also a laser light based specialist, which is a medical license. So a lot of people don't realize that, estheticians in the state of Florida cannot do tattoo removal. You have to have the medical license to do it. Even if you're overseen by a doctor, you have to have that license. And a lot of dermatologists do tattoo removal, but it's not a huge income for doctors, so they sort of wind up sending it to us. And we have a nice relationship with, doctors, dermatologists, some tattoo parlors, because a lot of people they may not want it completely removed. They may just want it faded to put something else on. But so yeah, we do all those services here.
Okay.
And we've been in business for 4 years, but my business partner and I have been in the industry for over 30 years.
Oh, so you have a lot of experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk first about what other options there are besides laser and why laser seems to be uh the main source of removal of tattoos now. So, can
Yeah.
you give me a little background of, for example, you go to a tattoo parlor, to an artist, they need to be licensed to do
They
tattoos?
need to be licensed, and if they're a good tattoo artist, their laws are pretty stringent because hygiene is so important in that field. So they have, inspections. They have to be inspected by the health department. So, you want to go to a reputable artist for sure.
Okay. And are tattoos artists permitted to remove tattoos also?
No, they are
Okay.
not.
I think that's very important for people to know that they think maybe since you put it on, you could take it off, but you really can't.
No, the tattoo artists can put them on, and they're licensed to put needles in your skin for tattoo purposes. But to remove it, you need the medical license that I and my business partner have, which is a laser light based medical license,
I understand.
for which we did a
Well,
lot of hours of training, and it's a lot.
what what other ways can you remove tattoos except, well, first of all, how does a artist, well, they're not licensed to remove the tattoo. So what are
Right.
the other ways that were there before laser technology was there to remove tattoos?
So I don't mostly what people used to do is have a revision of the tattoo. So if they had, a dog put on and they didn't want that anymore, if they went to a good tattoo artist, they would overlay another tattoo and make it something else. But to remove it, the only things that I know exists out there, I don't know how long they've existed, but one
Mhm.
is medical excision, which, you're going to be left with a scar. That's having a
Okay.
plastic surgeon or a doctor remove the tattoo, close it up, and stitch you up.
They actually remove layers of skin in order to
Yeah.
do that, correct?
Mhm.
And then that causes a wound, which they then stitch, and it will be a scar no matter what you do.
Yes,
O
and, of course, with any kind of surgery, even if it's minor, you risk infection and, a lot of things can go wrong. So, that's option 1. Option 2 is dermabrasion, which it's very painful. They take basically almost like a steel wool and they dermabrade the skin. The problem with that version of removing tattoo is that it doesn't fade completely, number 1, and number 2, it'll definitely leave scars.
Okay. So that's like taking, a piece of stainless steel scrubbing and putting it on your arm and keep rubbing, rubbing, rubbing until you remove whatever it is,
Yeah,
or
and,
sandpaper. Okay.
yeah,
Give an
yeah,
analogy for people who are listening to us on the podcast. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So how did laser technology come about to be able to use it for removal of tattoos?
Well, laser technology has been around a very long time, but it was used for medical reasons first. Then it was used in surgeries. Then laser hair removal became popular and tattoo removal. The thing is that there's laser machines and there's lasers, right? There's lasers, there's good machines, and then you get what you pay for, basically, is what I'm saying. I mean, I can
Okay.
tell you with our machine, for example,
Cutting
we're
machine.
state of the art. It's manufactured in Israel. They have probably the best aesthetic machines and lasers manufactured out of Israel, and we have great success with it. It's just technology has come a long way with lasers. It's been around a long time, but they've perfected it over time.
Okay. Let's talk about the clientele that you have coming to you. I'm sure you ask them, or they come to you and say, "I want to remove this." Why are they doing it?
Well, we have, of course, younger people, and then we have seniors that come in. All kinds of reasons. Some people, they got it in prison and they want to erase that part of their past. Some people have names tattoos, which there are people that they're no longer involved with. And either want to get rid of that involvement with that person, or their new person says, I really don't want you having your ex-husband's name on your rib cage, so that's another one.
I
Some
have
people
Lisa on my arm here, but after today, I was thinking I would get rid of it.
no, you'll have to get two more.
Oh, there you go.
Then a lot of people come because the tattoo artist, they went, they got drunk, or they went to not a tattoo artist who's very good, and the tattoo just looks awful. There's been misspells on lettering. And then just people, it fades over time and just doesn't look as good as it did when it was fresh. And they figure, let me just get rid of it. I never really liked it to begin with. I mean, all kinds of reasons. Social stigma as well. That, if people got a tattoo when they were 18 and now they're in finance and they don't really want to be walking around with all these tattoos in front of, potential
Well,
clients, etc.
the other thing is, and I, from my visual experience of seeing people with tattoos that are older, they don't look so good after
No.
when you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, they don't look too good.
Yeah. Well, just remember, as our skin ages, we lose collagen, right? Collagen is what
Yes.
keeps us bouncy, our skin bouncy. So, with a dehydration and loss of collagen, that tattoo that once looked pretty fresh is now looking kind of wilted, saggy, may have lost actually its footprint on the skin. So, it doesn't even look what it originally looked like. And if it's in a place where people can see, people just don't want it anymore.
Okay. So someone comes into your office and says, I want to discuss having removal of this tattoo wherever it is on their body. Are there places where let's go into first, before I ask that question, let's go into talking about the laser technology itself and how it removes the tattoo.
Okay, so there's different lasers for different things, and each use of that laser has a different wavelength. So the wavelength that we use is a specific wavelength to remove tattoos. That being said, there's some tattoos that are easier to remove than others. There's some factors which I know we're going to discuss at one point, so I'll leave it for that part. But the technology basically shoots that laser at the tattoo ink and breaks up that ink.
Explain the breaking up of the ink, because when I heard about the lasers, I said, well, it's probably like James Bond. It could cut you up, but that's not what it does at all. Your
No.
laser actually breaks down the ink that's been there
Yes.
for 30 to 40 or 50 years, correct?
Right. So what I want to kind of go back to before we get to that so that you understand why it does that
Okay.
is that the factors that are important when it comes to tattoo removal is the age of the ink. Of course, the older the tattoo is, the harder it's going to be to remove, the type of ink that was originally used, the quality of the ink. And unfortunately, we don't know that. You probably, as the person who received the tattoo, doesn't know that. So, but that is a factor. And the depth of the tattoo. Some people have gotten there's different tattoo types where there's tapping, where it goes very deep into the skin. Some people went to a place that wasn't reputable and the person may not have even had a license to do a tattoo, and then went very deep into the skin. And then, of course, now what happens, which we go back to your original question, is that the laser breaks that ink up. So if you've ever seen a video online of a tattoo being removed, it turns white. So it almost looks like it's being erased, but that's not what's happening. The laser hits the tattoo ink, it breaks it up into particles, and then you metabolize that out, whether through sweat, through urine, through excretion, any form of excretion. So it gets broken down by the lymphatic system and it exits the body. That's a factor also because not everybody has a great way of metabolizing that ink. Some people metabolize it great, some people don't. And again, there's so many factors involved that it's very difficult to say, hey, it's going to take you 4 sessions, it's going to take you 3 sessions, it's going to take you 10 sessions. It's impossible to say.
Okay. So I walk in, I've got my tattoo on my arm that says Lisa, and you're going to sit down with me and you're going to look at my arm and you're going to give me an estimate of how many sessions I would have to go through in order to remove it. Cause it's not a one session
Not
I
at all.
walk in, I walk out, and there's not gonna be a tattoo there in a week, correct?
No.
So, bring me through how the transition from having a tattoo to the removal of the tattoo works with you. And I know it varies based on my reading. It varies how long it takes for each individual. They're all independent.
Right.
So give me a bit of a time frame on the laser removal.
So again, it's very difficult to say how many sessions each person is going to take because of all those factors that I discussed earlier. And blues and blacks inks are easier typically to remove than, let's say, reds and yellows and greens. So that's a factor as well. Typically, you'll come in, we'll say, okay, we charge by the size of the tattoo. The size doesn't make it more or less harder to get rid of. It's really about the colors and all the things I discussed before. Then we would go ahead and either numb the area or we can use lidocaine, we can use numbing cream or just ice. If it's a little tattoo, ice is fine. We shoot the laser at it, do our job, and then that skin has to heal completely and you have to fully metabolize what we broke up. So we see people every 6 weeks during the process.
Got it.
So it's a
So
long
you
process. It's a
yeah,
long process.
the lasers
Well,
are very, very fine. It's like a needle. Is that what it is?
well, there's what's called spot size. So if it's a
Okay,
big tattoo, you can go a little bit bigger with a spot size, but if it's a thin dots, thin lines, you go with a smaller spot size.
I see.
And the smaller the spot size, the more intense the laser beam is.
I get it. Okay, so somebody comes in and you give them an estimate. Of course, just like you told me, it depends on the person and their metabolism and everything else. So you tell me that to remove Lisa from my arm is going to take maybe 8 weeks. How painful is it?
Well, it would never be 8 weeks. It would be,
8 sessions.
let's just say 8 sessions, but again,
Okay.
I can't tell
No, no,
anybody
no. I
the time,
understand. I
but
understand.
let's
It was
just
my
say it takes
mistake.
8 sessions.
Okay.
I'm gonna be very honest. I have never had a tattoo done on myself, on my body. My business partner has never had a tattoo done. So we don't know how it feels to get a tattoo, but I would say that 99% of the people that come in here and have them removed say it's way more painful than getting the tattoo.
Really?
So I
Okay.
am always very upfront about that. Some people surprise us and they're like, "Oh, it's not so bad," but it it's bad.
It's about your pain threshold to
Yeah,
some degree.
yeah,
Okay.
but
Well, that's interesting.
it's not, even with lidocaine and stuff, remember you're leaving with broken skin, potentially blisters. So it's intense.
Okay. So we go through this series of laser treatments. And how long are usually I know it depends on the size, but if I had your name written on my arm, about how long would that session take?
Let's say you have Lisa and it's about an inch wide, 2 inches wide. That'll take about
Well, if I
15.
knew you, it would have been much larger than that, but it's
Well,
okay. Okay, we'll
thank you,
go
of
with that.
course. But
Go ahead.
let's say it's the size of a credit card. Okay,
Got
let's
it.
take that
Okay.
for example.
All right. That's a good
That
example.
probably is going to take, if we numb the area with numbing cream, you have to sit here for 20 to 25 minutes with the cream. If we use lidocaine, it's pretty fast because we inject the lidocaine. And the process of the tattoo removal itself for something that size is about 15-20 minutes, depending on
Okay.
the intricacy of the tattoo.
And just like
Really,
any other medical professional, you're going to say, "Okay, we'll come back," or do they call you and say, "Well, I feel better now, it's healed a little bit. Should I when do I schedule my new appointment?" Or do you schedule a bunch of appointments for them right
we
away?
typically just schedule the next appointment when they're done with that session. And it's
Got it.
no less than 6 weeks apart.
Wow,
Because
6
again, the
weeks.
skin has to completely heal. You leave with a bandage because you have to keep it dry for 24 to 48 hours after the procedure.
Mhm,
And so we give you two bandages. You leave with a bandage on, and we give you an ointment to apply until the skin heals. And
mhm.
also, the skin may heal sooner than 6 weeks, but your body has to metabolize it. So, minimum 6 weeks in between removals.
Wow. Okay, it's much more intense than I thought it would be.
Oh, it's
Uh,
intense. Yeah.
it's a good thing I didn't come down there to try it. I have low pain threshold. Okay, I think. I don't know. My wife doesn't have low pain threshold. She deals with me. Anyway, okay. So we're moving along in our process. And you had mentioned, it sounded like you mentioned that when you meet the first time for the individual and you look at their tattoo, you're going to give them an estimate of how much it's going to cost them to remove that tattoo. Let's keep
What
on
I do,
the credit card
we
side.
base it on size. So what we
Yeah.
typically do is we sell packages of individuals or individual or packages. So what I
Okay.
do is I say, listen, it's more cost effective to purchase a package. If you need to go above and beyond that package, because by that point it will have faded significantly, and we don't know, it's going to minimally take four for sure,
Hmm.
for the most part, unless you've had tattoo removal done somewhere else and then you're continuing here. So typically we sell a package of four. And then once you've bought that first initial package, I break down individual sessions to that price, and you can pay individually because you may need six, you may need five, you may need eight. It's hard to say, but
And
minimum four.
and the intricacy of the tattoo itself in that same credit card size, does that impact the cost?
No, it's
But the
purely by
color might.
size.
But the color might. Is that
The
correct?
The cost will never change because we base that on size. It's
Got it.
going to have to do with how many visits you're going to need. And again, since we don't know how many visits, that's
Okay.
hard to say. I mean, a minimum, let's say four visits, it's about $600.
Okay. So we're talking about $600 possibly to get rid of a credit card Lisa.
Hmm.
And then obviously as it goes along, you will charge them based on the amount. So this
Based on
is
the amount and of course the size. I mean, if it was the size of a quarter, it's going to be cheaper for four sessions.
of
If it's the
course
size of a piece of paper, it's going to be a lot more than that.
right. What's the largest size uh removal you've done? I mean, I see guys with shoulders done and
Yeah.
their full legs done, women also. Have you had them that size? Or is that more of a younger generation that have been doing those?
Okay. So my business partner did one that took up a girl's entire side of her thigh. It was big. And then I did one that took an entire man's chest. And it was unfortunately a prison tattoo that he wanted to sort of get rid of that part of his life. And that was a significant tattoo. And the one that the lady had on her leg, it was a very large tattoo.
Wow.
And those take time. They take
Oh, yeah,
time
for
and
sure.
yeah.
Well, it's interesting because there's pain related to both having it done and there's pain related to having it taken off. It's
Yeah.
interesting,
And
especially
also, like having it done, some areas are more sensitive than others. When you get a
of course.
tattoo removal on an area that's bony, that's more painful than a fatty area. One of the tattoos that we remove the most, believe it or not, are eyebrow tattoos. Because a lot of ladies have had their eyebrows tattooed.
Oh, yeah.
And typically over time, the color that is originally used for those eyebrow tattoos fades or turns a funky color. And we probably 50% of our tattoo removals are eyebrows.
Wow.
Hmm.
Really?
Hmm.
Okay. So how much does an eyebrow approximately cost?
175 a session.
175 a session. Okay. Just curious because
Hmm.
I have more women listening to me than men. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I want to just let all the ladies that are listening, I'm begging you. Of course, I would love to make money removing your eyebrows, but do not do it to begin with. Uh, Tattoos on the eyebrows, they just will fade and look weird over time, and eventually you're going to want to get them removed. And microblading, which is another form of, it's not really a tattoo, but they're basically taking a blade, making hair strokes, and then putting ink in there. That causes scar tissue over time, and it looks beautiful when you first have it done. But with all the amazing makeup that's out there for eyebrows, I'd be happy to teach you or any of your listeners how to make great eyebrows in 2 minutes instead of going and getting a tattoo, because I'm telling you there's a lot of tattoo regret with brows.
okay. Well, maybe I have to come in one day and I'll let you do my eyebrows. I could be your, I could be your guinea pig
Yeah.
for doing that for our listeners. Okay. All right. So What else would you like to say about doing the tattoos? And why did you even decide on getting involved in laser removal of tattoos?
Well, it's very funny. Originally, I was an medical esthetician, and I had a lot of clients that were now reaching a certain age, and most of them were getting a lot of white chin hairs. And in menopause
You mean
and
like mine? Is that what you're
yeah, except you can shave. Not that we
That's true.
can't, but a lot of women were saying, "Oh my God, you have to remove this." So I decided originally to go and get my electrology license. In the state of Florida, they lump the electrology license with the laser license. And that's actually how I met my business partner. She had gone for another reason and wound up in laser school for that because she wanted to do tattoo removal. And we went, and that's how we started our business and so on and so forth. But really, it was
Okay.
about electrolysis. And then we realized, wait a second, we can make really good money doing this. It's a lot of fun to do it. We can torture people and get paid for it. Um,
I know that's a
just kidding,
joke. It's
just
okay.
kidding on that one.
That's okay.
But
I know it's a joke.
yeah, so that's really how we got into it because it's not a license that I've had since I've been an esthetician, so it's new, but I think for me, the most important thing to discuss is that there is risks with getting a tattoo and having it removed, and those are really important because my mom is 76 and got her first tattoo last year, and I almost had a heart attack.
Why did your mom get a tattoo at 76, which is the same age as I am, by the way?
I was mortified. So she goes, "You know what? I've always wanted to get a tattoo." She had turned 75 and she goes, "I want to do something a little crazy for my 75th birthday and I just want to do it." So she was out in California visiting my brother and sister, and my sister took her to a tattoo place that she goes to, and next thing you know, she has a tattoo on her shoulder. So I was unhappy about it, but to each his own. But one of the things that upset me, especially at her age, is that there are risks with getting a tattoo, right? There's hygiene, so can be very common if you don't go to a reputable tattoo artist or tattoo removal specialist. There's hygiene issues. You can have an allergic reaction to a tattoo. You can be allergic to the ink, which can then cause lots of problems. You can get scarring, and in rare cases, cancer. And I recently read a study that I believe Harvard did about how tattoos affect the lymphatic system.
Hmm,
So our lymphatic system, if you've heard lymphedema, people with lymph cancer, that's basically our disposal system of our body, and it carries all the toxins out through urination, through sweat. So, you're getting these tattoos that are affecting your lymphatic system, and then when you're removing them, those toxins are being removed by your lymphatic system. So they're saying that it's potentially can cause cancer. So I'm not a big fan of tattoos, and obviously removal is going to put that ink back into your system, but hopefully remove it. Um, so yeah.
okay. All right, so tell me one of your good stories and your outcomes of one of your, clients.
I think probably the best stories are those of people that have had other people's names tattoos and now they're with somebody new, and that person wants them to remove that, or they want to remove it because they're no longer connected to that person. And when they no longer see that person's name, it's like a closure to a divorce, a closure to a relationship ending. And those are the ones that I really like because having gone through a divorce myself, it's sort of like that's kind of the end of it. I'm washing, and that person is no longer on my body.
I
Or
understand.
people who got them because of a really traumatic reason. They went through a very bad season of their life and they got it in that season, and now they're removing that part of their life.
Okay. Now, uh, can I put your information on our website for your company,
Sure,
with the phone number and whatever other information you want me to have so
of
that it's
course.
available for people? And of course, anyone can listen to the podcast. And also, we do have transcripts of the podcast. So if there's something that Lisa or I said that you wanted to listen listen to again or read again, which is probably something that she said, not me, just go to, you can get a transcript of that on our website. It'll link you right to it. So that's available also. Is there anything else you want to say today, Lisa?
Um, I don't think so. I think we covered quite a bit. Obviously, we're super happy to remove anybody who's not interested in a tattoo any longer. And listen, it's been super popular, so there's a reason why a lot of people are getting them removed.
Okay. And I want to ask you one other question. Are there licensed people to do this in every state, or are there some states that do not have licensing for laser removal that you know of?
Every state has a license, but it depends on who can do it. So in the state of Florida, you have to have the specific license. I can't tell you what other states, but some other states may have, you know, only doctors can do it.
Okay.
Only dermatologists can do it. So you really have to research your own state and see what the laws are.
And part of that is also the cost of the laser itself must, I have no idea what those costs are. So I don't think you're going to be walking into a tattoo parlor and they're going to have one there, let alone the medical setup like you have for
Yeah.
actually treating it. Is that
Well, I
correct?
can tell you that our particular laser is a $200,000 laser.
Okay.
And you get what you pay for in lasers. And we've had many people who've gone elsewhere. They've gone through the process and their tattoo has not faded because they're not using a machine. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you can buy, I don't want to poo poo on certain companies out there, but you can buy online from another country, which I won't mention either, a laser to remove tattoo. It'll get shipped to you in a couple of months, and then you're offering that service, and you don't have the credentials nor the proper machine to be doing it.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
do
would,
your research before you do it.
yeah,
Is
everyone
basic
should do their research. I mean, anytime you're doing anything medically on your body, you're better off going to a professional such as yourself.
for
And
sure.
okay. So I want to thank you for taking your time, and I want to
My
thank
pleasure.
your partner for allowing you to take your time uh, to inform me and our audience about this, because I'm sure a lot of people ask about it and they say, "Well, I didn't even know this is available," or can I get this done? Because I want to get rid of Lisa. Probably they
Yeah.
just want to get rid of Ken after they've heard me for 30 minutes. But okay.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I hope you come and visit us down in Naples Laser and Skin Aesthetics.
Okay. I'm going to read one more quote to end the podcast. Life is about change. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's beautiful, but most of the time it's both. I guess that kind of relates to what we just discussed,
Very
right?
much so. Yeah,
All
that's a
right.
good quote.
I should send you those quotes. All right.
Yes, I would love
Again,
that.
Lisa, thank you very much. And I appreciate you taking up your time and informing our audience. Okay.
Thank you, Ken. It was a
All
pleasure.
right. Thank you
Bye
also.
bye.
Bye bye. And that concludes this episode of We Are Old, Get Over It. Thanks for joining me. I hope you found our conversation both insightful and entertaining. Remember, age is a journey, not a destination. So embrace the wrinkles, the forgetfulness, and the occasional tech frustrations with a good dose of get over it attitude. Until next time, keep laughing, keep learning, and keep getting over it. Ken out.
This podcast features a variety of perspectives. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are solely their own and do not constitute an endorsement by this program. Unless otherwise stated, this podcast does not endorse the products and services of our guests, but shares them for informational purposes only.